What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. We are your hosts, Chase and Myles, and we are at the Lucky Duck. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, non-binaries, furries, and my mom. We got a good show.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. No special guests, just Myles and I today.
Yep. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
This episode of At the Lucky Duck is brought to you by Hot Wheels.
Oh,
Get your Hot Wheels at your local King Soopers, Publix, or Safeway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you pick that up from fucking King Soopers?
Yeah.
That is what. All right. What do we got here? This is Fast and Furious Spy Racers,
Hell yeah.
the Netflix original series. Is that supposed to be Vin Diesel?
Does it actually say that?
Yeah.
It says Netflix original series?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a real thing?
Yeah. Let's put it on the camera for everybody to see.
That's pretty crazy. I was walking through King Soopers and they have like 3 or 4 tubs of, no, probably more than that, like 5 or 6 tubs of Hot Wheels cars.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I haven't owned a Hot Wheels car in like 10 years. And so I bought this because I was like, you know, stocks aren't doing well. Housing market isn't doing well. What's good to invest in besides fucking Hot Wheels cars? You know what I mean?
Dude, you're probably right. It takes me back to remember when people were all about that what was it, the Beanie Babies?
Yeah.
That was the thing, right?
Yeah, I had a couple, not because I was collecting them, but because
You were in the craze.
I was a child.
They were giving them away in like Happy Meals and stuff at some point.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But they weren't like the official Beanie Babies. They were like the
knockoff.
They were like the ones made especially for
I bet
McDonald's.
Some of those became collectibles, right? For
Probably.
people who like McDonald's.
People who are sitting on $1,000 worth of invaluable or not valuable. What's that word? I don't know. What are we drinking?
We're drinking the Anthony.
The Anthony. Cheers. This is the classic Nigiri or Negroni. Nigiri is the sushi. Yeah.
Yeah. But it probably goes pretty well with the Negroni.
I would imagine so. Equal parts gin, Campari, and
sweet vermouth.
Sweet vermouth.
With a few slices of pineapple.
That's orange.
Oh shit! I got the wrong
may
fruit.
Need to get checked out.
Having a stroke.
A big ol'. I like dipping them and then just gnawing on them. So if you guys hear like this noise during the podcast,
Oh yeah. God! It just got all over your shirt.
God damn it! That is me eating the orange. You're welcome. This is the point when most people were like, all right, I'm done with this show.
Yeah. What did I just find?
Yeah.
We also have Topo Chico.
Ooh, Topos.
And Topo Chico didn't pay us any money to have this on here because we asked and they said no.
They were like, who are you?
Yeah.
Topo Chico is like my favorite beverage, period, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, it's pretty good. The flavorless one kind of just tastes like I'm drinking gas with a little water in it.
Yeah, spicy water.
Yeah, it just makes my stomach hurt real bad.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
shut the fuck
stomach
up.
fills up.
You know, it's naturally carbonated, so when they source it from the spring, it already
does it say that
carbonated.
on there, or is that an urban legend?
No, you gotta look it up. Yeah, it's bottled in Monterrey, Mexico, and they source it from the springs there, and it's naturally carbonated when they pull it out of the limestone, and they'll filter it, and then they'll add carbonation back because when they filter the water, it loses some of that natural carbonation.
That's true.
Yeah,
according to Wikipedia.
Ooh, Wikipedia is never wrong, sir.
They cite their sources sometimes.
You know who? So they you can get the what is it? The spiked seltzers, like their
Yes,
Topo Chico.
I've had them.
You know who actually bottles those? It's not Topo Chico. Topo Chico just licensed the brand.
Would it happen to be ranch water?
Well, they sell those. But
But
Ranch Water is just a name of the cocktail. It's not an actual brand, I don't think.
okay.
But it is Molson Coors. You know, the people that bring
Oh,
us Coors Light, Coors Banquet, Miller, I think.
don't they have their own hard seltzer?
They do. They do. They probably have 5 or 6 under the
Yeah.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah, they capture the market.
Gotta
Like,
get-
oh, a new one?
yeah.
What is this?
Mm-mm.
Negroni hard
So
seltzer?
good. Yeah. Why does this Hot Wheels look like it's like vintage? It's like it looks a little weathered. Did it fall off the car and you had to pick it back up?
So when I was walking past the Hot Wheels, first off, I walked past it and then I saw some kids digging through there and I was like, I could do that too. So I joined the kids digging through the Hot Wheels cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about the fact that all these other kids probably were digging through the Hot Wheels cars, destroying the
Oh, yeah.
this thing, right?
Yeah,
Making
yeah.
it worth less. Got those little.
You remember that was the one thing that was reasonable to ask for when you went to like the store and you were a kid with your parents and you're like, you know, the cliche, you know, come on, give me a toy. I want to, you know, Hot Wheels was like 49 cents back in the day. Just like, it was like, yeah, can I get a Hot Wheels? And that was what, you know, if you were good and your parents were feeling charitable, they would get you the Hot Wheels. And then you take it home and we used to play on that little rug. We used to have a rug that was like, had a
Like
graphic printed
like
on
the
it.
size of this
Yeah.
table.
And it had like a little town with roads and houses, and you take your cars and you drive on the rug. This is like the poorest place that you ever had. 49-cent Hot Wheels with a rug. Just like, that's it.
Well, we had hand-me-down Legos too.
It's true. I think we talked about that in the last podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is the Rally Baja crawler, which Baja, if you guys haven't seen or heard our last episode, we made these amazing Baja Blast cocktails.
Yeah.
You should check them out. Or go to their Instagram and learn how to make one of your own.
Oh,
Ting, ting, ting.
really? I'd like to
Yes,
do
we
that.
call it the Baja Blaster. That's what I named it.
What's our name on Instagram?
At the Lucky Duck.
Cool.
Dang.
Is it at the Lucky Duck?
No, but if you're trying to holler at us, that's what you would do. With a
Okay.
little at symbol before it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like I didn't even look at the price of what that was. I figured it was probably
you're balling.
not that much more.
You're balling. You're just grabbing whatever, not even paying attention to price tags anymore.
I also bought
changed.
I bought a can of tea at the store too, but I did look at the price of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was $2.
Tea's kind of pricey,
Yeah.
depending where you get it.
This is like special free. It's gluten free, no alcohol. It says on there.
So when you say gluten free, what in a traditional tea it would constitute to be gluten?
Does it really matter?
It matters to me. I'm trying to make a point here. That just sounds like bullshit marketing.
Yeah,
You know, this
probably.
is also animal product free.
Oh, you know what? I think the reason they put that is because it has like hops or something.
Yeah.
You know, so like
Does hops have
when you
gluten?
make beer has wheat in it, right?
But uses like sometimes you'll use wheat or barley
Yeah,
as like the main grain.
Something like that,
yeah.
which would have gluten in it.
Yeah.
And so I think because this tastes like an IPA or something, some people might think that it also has that in it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's meant to taste like a beer.
Interesting.
Maybe that's why they put it.
Interesting.
I don't think tea normally has gluten in it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why it would.
I'd be concerned if it
Unless you're
did.
drinking wheat beer?
A wheat tea. Is
Wheat tea, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
Have you
mean.
ever seen how they make like bread and stuff? I watched a whole TikTok last night about the process from this guy that just had wheat growing in his backyard, and like he like took the wheat top, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's got all the grain in it, and then he basically put it in a bag and beat the crap out of the bag, and it takes all the actual grain and separates it, and then he'll take a whole bucket of that, and then he basically has to strain that and take all the loose leaf that came with banging it from the stem, and then separate that out, and then you basically have to like mill that grain up into a like flour basically, and then you can choose to like bleach it for like a whiter color, or you can go all natural. That's like the difference between like white bread, right, and like what you
Takes
get.
all the fiber out, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
It was kind of cool. Like I don't know, I missed that how it's made episode, I guess. But it was cool to see it from like a bespoke perspective of like just a random dude that had like wheat just grown in his backyard. Like, damn, that was a hell of a lot of work just to get a slice of bread. I don't know. Rather just have somebody else.
It's probably the healthiest bread you'll ever have, though.
Yeah.
I
Except
mean,
he lives in like Flint, Michigan, where like
the water.
Yeah.
He's safer off buying it. Yeah, if you go to Sprouts, you can buy like $10 bread.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder what the hell is in that bread.
Some of it tastes pretty good. And then,
totally, yeah.
And then you're like, wait, is this healthy? And then you look at the back and you're like, oh, these bitches put sugar in this.
Like everyone says that Dave's Killer bread is actually not that healthy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of marketed to be like a healthier bread.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak out of my ass, but I got to say it's probably a healthier alternative to like Wonder Bread or something like that. Because I think that bread typically has a lot of processed sugar in it and a couple other preservatives that aren't so good for you. But one interesting fact about Dave's Killer Bread is they hire ex fugitives, like people who got out of prison
Bastard.
and want a second chance.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I know that
Yeah,
a little bit.
That's cool. I mean, I'm sure they don't necessarily have bad intentions. It's like if you're gonna eat shitty bread, or like it's either like you're not gonna buy the healthier stuff for for whatever reason you don't like the taste of the healthier stuff. It's too expensive, whatever it is. Versus eating something that's a little bit better than the cheapest bread, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's got grains and stuff in it. Yeah, it may have some other junk in it.
Yeah.
But if you buy it at like Walmart or Target or whatever, a cheaper grocery store, it's not that expensive relative to some of the healthier breads.
There's some things like I think bread qualifies for me is like you grew up eating it and it like shouldn't be as good as you think it is, you know, or how much you like it. Like white bread. Like I would rather eat white bread with like, you know, deli meat, mayo, you know, whatever, than like that same ingredients with like whole wheat or like the more expensive stuff. You know, it probably is better for you. It probably tastes better if like you never had either and you just went in, never had. But I grew up with white Wonder like bread. And it's just like nothing else. So another thing is like McDonald's fries. Like fuck. Like I will kill a dude for some McDonald's fries. Just like there's something that's just hits home for me a little bit. It tickles that nostalgic like childhood, like growing up, you know, eating McDonald's all the time, and it's just like, oh, that's what I like. If I'm like looking for a guilty cheat meal, you know, just like hit up the McDonald's, get a large fry. That's it. You know?
Yeah,
Maybe
totally.
a cheeseburger.
I feel like I know what you're saying about the sandwich thing.
Yeah.
I can almost taste it, like taste
Yes.
what you described.
Yeah.
Having it as a
Like
kid,
sticks to the top of your mouth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Versus having, I feel like a lot of times wheat bread is often a little more stiff,
Yeah.
less like fluffy. You get less of that fluffy. I think there are some wheat breads that are a little more like that.
You must have to heat them up a little bit Not like toast, but like if you
Yeah.
stick it in the microwave for 5 seconds, it would definitely loosen up those like fibers or whatever the fuck it is happening.
Yeah. So that I think you're right. I don't know. For me, McDonald's French fries, I don't get that as much. I think because they hurt me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, they hurt me too, but not not in a, I mean, I just like,
not
you
as
know,
much.
you fight through that now.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
until you have colon cancer.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly. Um, yeah, like I'll go and get a large fry. I mean, I don't do it often. I'll probably like maybe once a month. It's actually been like maybe 2 months since I've done this, but I'll go like in the random 2 o'clock in the middle of the day, and there's one maybe 3 minutes from me because like that's how McDonald's is like everywhere. There's a McDonald's 3 minutes away from you, right? So like I'll grab one, and I'll come back, and I feel like shameful bringing it into the office because then everyone's like, "Damn, Chase likes McDonald's. Like, you filthy son of a bitch."
Isn't that funny? There's literally nothing wrong with
You
liking
crusty
McDonald's. But...
motherfucker. This bitch likes McDonald's.
yeah,
Uh,
it's disgusting.
and I'm like, I get that, but at the same time, my excuse is like, this is what I grew up eating this. So I have no shame. And I like the way it tastes. Not all the time. I can't. And then you get like a third or halfway through it of like your French fry,
Yeah,
and you're like, oh no,
yeah.
maybe I shouldn't have done this.
You're like, damn, I kind of agree with all the people who judge me.
Fuck yeah, like now I get it. I get it. I get it.
And then you forget. The
And
next
then
one.
2 months later, you're like, that totally goes away. You're like, man, you know what? Hit the
Yeah.
spot right now.
I feel like I feel like there's two things to that. One, if you don't have something for long enough, and also if you don't have the temptation of it, that kind of goes away. For instance, when I lived in Fort Lauderdale like 5 or so years ago, I had a Wendy's right across the street from where I lived.
Yeah.
And every so often I'd go over there, and that's exactly what I get. I'd get like a thing of French fries, and then sometimes a Frosty. Is that
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
call it?
yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
And then occasionally like one of their little cheap chicken wraps or something.
Yes.
If I was
yeah.
hungry.
Yeah.
And I would get that, and I remember I would crave it sometimes. I'd be like, I'm hungry right now. It's like around dinner time. I just want to go get some French fries and like, get it with something else. And I don't have that craving at all anymore because I don't live anywhere near Wendy's, and I haven't had Wendy's French fries probably since then. And then I don't really have that craving of McDonald's anymore because I also haven't had it in a long time, and I don't often pass a McDonald's anymore because I don't work at an office where it's near one or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like, and also it's like what's in it. If you're not eating that kind of food all the time, you don't get those cravings. It's kind of like sugar. If like you're on if you have a high sugar diet, like your body will crave sugar until like you start to wean off of it. And
Totally.
then it's like, oh, your body's not having those same types of cravings.
Like having soda.
Yeah.
Like a cold soda.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I would crave that all the time.
Yeah.
And then I, for whatever reason, just stopped drinking as much soda over time, and now I barely have it. But what I do have now is like carbonated drinks, Spindrift, LaCroix, Topo Chico, and that's so weird because most of these have barely any sugar in them. Usually it's like the essence of the fruit, so that there may be like a gram of sugar. Like I think Spindrift has a gram of sugar or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's super weird because you feel a kind of an addiction to Topo Chico, right?
I do.
But that's literally just mineral water. Like,
Yeah.
what are you addicted to the mineral? No, it's like the carbonation.
I had to look up.
Right?
I was like, is Topo Chico bad? Like, is drinking it bad for you? Then I felt like an idiot after I Googled that. They were like,
It's
dude,
really healthy,
it's
right?
literally just water.
Yeah.
And it's got, I mean, I know there is some people who will like stand up after listening to me saying that and be like, well, it's carbonated and too much carbonation in your body isn't a good thing because where's that going and blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up.
Is that actually a thing?
I think so. Yeah. Actually,
Well, it
I
just
got
comes
grilled.
back out.
I got grilled. I was at a wedding in Sacramento a couple years ago, and shout out to my buddy Ankit. He's like a health freak, and he's got so many other like things that he's like very particular about. And I was telling him like, yeah, I quit soda, blah blah blah. I drink a lot of like sparkling waters and stuff. And he's like, oh, that's terrible for you. You should be drinking coconut water. It's so much better. And I was like, don't grill me after I told you I quit soda, okay? You're not gonna get me after that.
That's
All right?
crazy.
So he's like, what do you think? Where do you think all that carbonation is going? He's like, I'm like, I don't know. It's like, it's just fucking, at the end of the day, it's water. And then I hear people on, like, doctors on TikTok who are like, it's not water. If fish don't swim in it, it's not water, basically. So, like, this Topo Chico sparkling water is like, if fish can't swim in it, it's not water. I'm like,
What?
okay, well, whatever. First off, there's some problems with that because, like, nobody's out there drinking ocean water. And
That's so
fish
true.
can swim in that.
Also, I think we should do an experiment next podcast where we buy a goldfish, put them in the Topo Chico,
see how long
if he
he
swims.
lasts. We might get shut down off of YouTube
Because isn't it-
real quick.
there's-
Animal cruelty.
What's in there? CO2?
Yeah, it's
right?
just CO2.
So
yeah.
he needs oxygen. So
and minerals.
maybe he has some special ability where he can split the molecule and get the oxygen out of it.
I honestly don't know much about this. I'm curious. I might have to Google after this on how. I just don't. Listen.
Doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, also, yeah, that was kind of mean of him to say that after you just told him something that you were proud of.
He's like, it's like he's like he's like one of the nicest guys ever. But
Totally.
and we like to poke fun of him.
But coconut water is a diuretic.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay. Huh. I heard
that's
good
why
for you, though.
people say that they kind of make fun of people who are so into it because it dehydrates you.
Interesting.
Because people say it's supposed to be hydrating, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like you drink it when you're drinking alcohol, supposedly, or you drink it to avoid hangover. That, which is one thing I will say Topo Chico does actively advertise is to avoid hangovers. People will drink them. I'm not really sure what that means or if there's any claim to that. Obviously, it's water, so yeah, it's going to provide some beneficial remedies to avoiding dehydration, which is the main cause of a hangover.
This article from the timesofIndia.com says that it's good for you because of the minerals and stuff in it, but that the water also acts as a diuretic, which increases the flow and production of urine. But they kind of word it as a good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But they say it's good for people suffering from kidney disease because apparently the flow and production of urine is good for that, which doesn't really make sense to me.
So if so it's like drawing some of that out of you, basically, when you're
so maybe more water,
more.
more stuff flowing through your kidneys and getting junk out, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just trying to make it so that he's wrong too.
Yeah.
Trying to make you feel better.
Bitch. Ankit, you son of a bitch. Oh well,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It is what it is.
I mean, we all know that alcohol, cocktails in general are really the best thing you can have.
Yeah. A good Negroni with 3 slices of oranges will go a long way.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to dip it into the drink and then take it out. Except mine's stuck together. Who made this freaking cocktail?
Oh no.
Where's the bartender?
Me.
Oh.
Anyway, so 5G.
Oh yeah. So did
I'm
you
back
do
on
your
my
5G research?
I'm back on my 5G rants.
Okay.
All right. This is fucking bullshit. Okay? 5G does not exist. In fact, what I want you to do, I want you to go to Verizon, type in on Google Verizon's cell coverage map. Excuse me. I want you to pull it up.
And then for all the viewers, go to Verizon doesn't have real 5G.squarespace.com.
Don't do that. You'll just be wasting your time. Miles is a grifter. He's just he's redirecting you to
Pornhub.
Yeah, Pornhub. So
Wow, they have it. They have the entire country covered.
Yeah. Oh my God, so crazy. Now, is it have on the bottom like what each of the colors mean? Because they're all. It's like a couple different shades of red, right?
Yeah, so it has, well, so the orange shade across the map is just coverage in general.
Yeah.
The not orange, so like the grayish color, is just no coverage. And then the red circles are the 5G ultra wideband.
Okay. Is there another? Is there another 5G? Right. There's like 5G.
No, it's just ultra wideband.
They don't have 5G nationwide 5G. 5G nationwide.
Not on this map.
All right, so go into scroll into Colorado, for instance. Yeah, because it may actually pop
Oh
up.
yeah, it changes.
Okay.
It changes.
All right, keep scrolling into like Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, so do you see the colors now? Like this lighter color is the 4G LTE.
Yes.
And this darker color is the 5G nationwide.
Okay.
And then apparently there's also 5G ultra wideband, which is those circles.
Okay.
Which we're zooming into.
Yeah.
now.
Let me let me pause you there. Okay. Hover over where the little is it have a little eye icon next to the 5G nationwide.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it say when you pull that? When
It
you
says
say that?
Verizon's 5G nationwide network runs alongside the Verizon 4G LTE with similar performance.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Why the fuck are you calling it 5G when it is literally just your 4G network?
I feel like
That is the biggest fucking scam in America right now.
I feel like you're the guy who goes down to the Verizon store and you like pick a fight with the employee who doesn't even know what 4G and 5G means.
He's like, dude, I just sell fucking iPhones. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but what's really weird is they have a difference between 4G and 5G. Like if you look on the map, for instance, here in Denver, if I zoom in a little closer, this lighter color here, this weird just group. I mean, imagine if you live here, you're like, oh, I don't have 5G. Apparently.
But it literally is the same network. It's just the phones hardware are a little different. That can pick up a 4G signal at a higher speed. Now zoom into like downtown Denver, and you'll see that all the little red.
All this red
so
stuff.
you see all the red. That is an actual 5G, a true 5G speed zones. And you see how they're all just running along like
the
streets and stuff. How are we supposed, how is that beneficial to us? How is it beneficial to have fucking 5G network in the road?
Well, that's what doesn't really make sense. Why is it just in the road?
Exactly.
I mean, like look over here though. So if I go over to this lake over here, like look at this. What
like what is going on here?
What did they do wrong everywhere else, but over here they're like, oh yeah, we have a ton of 5G.
So here's the thing. They have 5G. They just don't have it even anywhere close to like 1% of their coverage. So when you hear all these fucking it's the largest 5G nationwide network. Be careful and hear what they're saying around the statement of 5G. If they're not saying we have the largest 5G network. They're saying we have the largest 5G nationwide network, which really just means 4G.
So 5G ultra wideband is up to 10 times faster than 4G LTE.
Yeah, and that is legit. That is actually like gigabit speed.
I've totally experienced that. I think it was, I want to say I was in Boston when, I'm sure I've had it since then, but when that kind of just first came out a couple years ago, I pulled my phone out because I noticed that I had it, and I did a speed test, and I remember it being insane. I was like, this is better than I can get at home,
Yeah.
with some of the best internet you can get. But it didn't help me because I mean, like I was on a cell phone.
I think the problem is that you have in order to have an effective 5G network, you have to have like these towers every like 50 feet or so. Like something incredibly difficult to do in rural areas. So in like big bustling cities like Denver, you can put these like towers on top of buildings, like pre-existing structures. So when Janie worked for Dish, she was telling me they were like partnering with big companies like Walmart to put towers on top of all of their buildings, because like partnering with people who already had large pieces of real estate strategically located in urban and rural areas, places like McDonald's, places like Walmart, places like Targets, because they already had the infrastructure and the ability to just put something right on top of their building. And so that's how they're going to create a 5G network. They have to do tons of massive infrastructure build to accomplish this. So I just want to get it out to the people that think that they have 5G when they see that little 5G icon in the corner of their phone. Sorry, you don't. You don't have it.
Except sometimes.
Except there's a little asterisk on the end of that. If you're in the middle of the road in downtown Denver, you may get a good signal.
If you're in any major city and you happen to be on the correct road, you might be good. But don't be inside the building though, because then the walls will be blocking the signal. You need a bad signal.
Yes.
I feel like they kind of focused on the wrong thing. Like it's not about making faster speeds. To me, it's more about just making it more reliable. Like today, you know, there's plenty of places I can go like near downtown, and I'll have the worst service, worse than near my house. And near my house, it sucks too.
Yeah.
Like right around my house. Why?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I'd like to improve. Like figuring out how to distribute signal into the mountains. Like I don't need, I can already get on LTE, you can get like 50 down or something, right? And then 5G, you can get like 300, 400 down or something, 5G ultra wideband. Why? Like that doesn't really make a difference when you're on a cell phone, when you're just texting someone or making a phone call.
You might be able to pick up that 4K Netflix. Although
while you're on the bus.
Yeah. Although I don't even know if Netflix's native app will permit you to stream 4K from your phone.
I hope so, because some people pay extra to stream 4K. If you have Netflix
on their phone, like their phone plans.
No. I mean,
well, that's for like TVs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. On your Netflix plan, you pay extra to have 4K.
Yeah. I can understand that for like your TV, but I don't know if it's the same for your phone.
Yeah, it could not be. It's potentially that. I mean, I guess. You probably have it disabled by default anyway, even if that was an option, because you'd want it to not pull as much data as it could.
What are some exciting things that you think when we have 500 megs down, like on the regular, on a self-serve?
Oh, I can see what it would be useful for, like pretty much nothing now.
Yeah.
I think reliable network would be so much better. But what it could be super useful for is when technology is at the point where we have things like Neuralink or other like AR, you know, Google glasses, like those kind of things where you can where they can look up things, like you're looking at you know, you're solving a math problem, and it can look at what's happening there, send it to the cloud, compute it, and then send it back. Something like that, I think, could probably be useful for. I don't know.
You got to think that would change our hardware too. Like our phones won't need SSDs anymore, or GPUs in them, because everything you'd ever need could be done in the cloud. I mean, you would still need servers running these, but all you really need is like a small size GPU to compute the signal into graphics to display on your screen, and
Yeah.
then that you would need any kind of storage, right? Because that you could literally just have maybe like you'd have RAM, so it
Right.
could be stored temporarily until it's like uploaded to the cloud instantly, almost, right?
What's the problem I always have with like iCloud? It's for some reason you can't configure it to. I take a photo, store it, maybe store it on my phone temporarily, and then store it in the cloud. It's like it has to store it on my phone and in the cloud, right? So I still need a lot of storage on my phone.
Interesting.
Um,
Why do you think that is?
hmm.
Maybe it's to, and this is my tin hat coming on. Maybe it's to get you to buy bigger storage
Yeah,
because they have like it starts at 128 now. I think the iPhones
goes up to a terabyte now,
goes up
right?
to a terabyte.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. I've got the half terabyte in my phone,
Wow.
and
Why?
I've got a lot of stuff on there, man.
Yeah,
I
but
keep like almost all my photos on there,
oh, okay. I
like
have
locally.
Amazon Photos, so I
Yeah,
can just delete them if it gets full.
yeah. I know,
It's
but
like the last time I upgraded my
I
phone, I
like being
didn't even.
able to just pull them up instantly without needing to
Yeah,
rely on.
yeah.
But when I get that 5G ultra wideband, I won't need to do that.
You know, I have a terabyte of photos.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a terabyte
yeah.
not video, just photos.
Just photos. Yeah,
on
yeah.
my stored in Amazon. They probably hate me, like this fucking guy.
I don't
Who
know.
is this? Because I get free storage from them.
Oh, from Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, I pay
Yeah.
for Prime, but
Right. Yeah.
I
Is that what
probably
you get? You get how much storage?
unlimited photo storage.
Unlimited for with Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that.
They just kind of pissed me off because they also had Amazon Drive. Because I pay for extra storage so I can store my videos too, because I have a ton of videos as well. And since I'm storing everything there, like I don't want there to be a situation where on my phone only the photos are backing up, the videos aren't, and then I have to then go back up the videos too. I know there's different solutions to this, like getting a home cloud and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm doing for now. I pay for I don't know, a terabyte of storage. I think it's not that expensive very much. It's pretty cheap, and I can store whatever I want on there: documents, photos. Well, I already have photo storage, videos, and so on. They just sent me an email saying that next year they're getting the Drive application is gone, and anything that I have stored in there besides photos and videos, I have to download and move.
Interesting.
Like, why am I paying for the storage? Right? I can literally all I can store there now is just videos. So
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna do is. So I hope Amazon's hearing this.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do, the one person who uses their storage is probably get like a home storage.
Yeah.
It's probably the cheapest long-term solution. So do something like that.
Yeah, probably. You just go big.
Yeah.
Just get yourself a nice big one.
Yeah, probably like a 16 terabyte with like 3 replication.
Yeah, so. Yeah. You could do like you could do 3 redundancies. Yeah, or right now I think I have a 16 terabyte and just doing a two redundant or 1 redundancy, so it has 1 copy of the backup.
Oh right, so you have 8 terabytes.
Yeah, 8 usable terabytes. Yeah.
So one thing that a lot of people I don't think about, and maybe this isn't a solution, but in my mind, because I guess processors do get more efficient, but at the same time they're we build better, bigger processors. We can fit more onto a processor, but that processor requires more energy to run than the previous generation.
Right.
If you look at NVIDIA, just came out, who makes graphics cards, their top of the line consumer graphics card, the last generation consumed a ton of power. You have one in your computer. The one they're coming out that's like the same level, but their next generation for next year is huge and it's going to consume a ton more power.
Yeah, how much more power do you think?
I don't know. I mean, you got to think if it's, what did they say? It's like 3 to 4 times more, or is it twice as performant? I think it was like twice as performant.
Yeah.
it's definitely not going to scale. Like it's going to take twice as much energy,
Right.
uh, but I would imagine maybe like 25% more. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty big.
Yeah,
It's pretty massive.
it's a brick.
So you got to think that it's also creating a lot more heat from that. And when we download things to our phone, to our computer, whether it's through the cable in the wall, onto our router, onto our computer, from the cell tower, all those devices that are doing those things, it's electricity going through all those devices. That costs money. The hardware costs money. Like that hardware has to be replaced after, the more it's used, the shorter lifespan it's going to have. And people are building more efficient devices and infrastructure. Kind of like a lot of the infrastructure is still pretty old. Like you have a lot of copper that's still used instead of fiber and things like that. But all those things they're going to require more energy, more cost. Like we can not need storage on our phone anymore and upload and download everything to the cloud all the time. But like, what's the, what are we doing that we don't see? Like, what's the cost, the energy cost to the environment, to the companies? Like, what's that going to cost in our bill?
Yeah, right. It'll have to be all on the company that the service you're using, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that might just be where like Apple's headed. Apple's a hardware company right now. I mean, they've got the services. They're starting to get into that a little bit. I think that's probably where they're more headed at. Like in their 20-year plan is like providing more services like that, where you just pay a monthly fee. Like they got the Apple One like subscription, which gives you like Apple Fitness, Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, and then like something else. The news. They have like a news subscription that you can subscribe to. But
Apple Fitness, right?
There's Apple Fitness, Apple News, Apple TV Plus, Apple Music. So like, then there's iCloud, right? So people pay for that. Yeah, I think it would just be like in the future there just may be just like one. It's like a piece of glass. You buy that, and then you just pay. What you're really paying for is everything else that's you're using the glass with.
Yeah, totally. Like probably the most expensive thing that's going to be in your phone is maybe like a small graphics processor.
Yeah,
I guess, because like you could probably render a lot of that stuff when latency gets so low. You could probably render a lot of stuff in the cloud, and then just shoot that essentially as just like rendered video onto a phone.
Yeah.
And then you really don't need much in the phone besides that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Who knows where it goes? Just want to get my AR glasses, and then I'll be good. Just walking around.
I can't wait for AR glasses.
Yeah, those are gonna be so sick.
Yeah, I know Elon's trying to do it without needing glasses.
Yeah. It's too far off in the future.
He says it's like next year, but he said self-driving cars like 5 to 10 years ago. He was like, yeah, it's next year, right? Like he's been saying that. I just saw an article recently that was like saying how experts kind of realize that making self-driving cars is actually a much more complex than they originally thought.
Yeah.
Which I thought sounded ridiculous. Because it sounds to me, self-driving cars sound incredibly complex.
Yeah,
like super complex.
Yeah,
and I never thought it would be a thing, like for a long time, maybe not even in our generation. And then you had people like Elon who were like, "We're almost there." It's like, maybe we're in beta.
I mean, it's there's a benefit. There's a self-preservation aspect to him saying that. He is the CEO and founder of the company that's leading that technology. He has to be bullish on that. He has to tell you it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And for him to come out and be like, it's actually super complicated. We didn't expect, these roadblocks. And when we deployed it, It wasn't what to say that would like crash the stock.
Then you wouldn't be able to sell as much perfume or cologne or whatever.
Whatever he sells. Yeah. Um,
Tesla tequila.
so I think it's about listening, not listening well, obviously hearing what he has to say, but like taking it with a grain of salt. It's like the equivalent of Mark Zuckerberg being like, the future is the metaverse. And you're like, okay, like, yeah, of course you changed the fucking name of your company to Meta, and you're pouring billions of dollars a year into this thing. Of course you have to say metaverse is the future, but I'm more interested in hearing the people around him that have less invested in the idea, who actually know what they're talking about. And like, I remember listening to Lex Friedman before he did his podcast and stuff. He'd be on these other podcasts, and they'd be talking about, it was when the self-driving hadn't quite come out yet, and he was like, yeah, they're not, that thing's like 5-10 years away at a minimum, like 10 years away. And at the time, everybody was like, really? Like, it seems like it's right around the corner. Like, they're already like pre-selling it. Like, you could buy it from Tesla through the Tesla app, basically.
The full self-driving.
Yeah,
right?
you could pre-order it. So like, it felt like, one thing that Elon's really good at is making it seem like the technology is already there, like, and being very bullish on it. But I'm more interested in hearing like what Lex had to say, because he spent a lot of time on this. He's very much a part of the autonomous vehicle revolution, and he was less enthusiastic about it. And turns out he was right. Like, it's a lot more harder than we thought. It isn't right around the corner. I mean, maybe now it is, like, because it is you can actually use it now in all Teslas, basically, that are like 2020 and later. But I think it's about listening to reasonable people who aren't trying to basically game the stock market constantly like Elon is. He's not dumb. He knows that what he says is going to have an incredible amount of impact
Right.
on the financial system that his companies revolve around. But yeah, I don't know. I'm enthusiastic about it. I think I think people had a overhyped expectation of the entire technology.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because, well, I think that's what people don't. I think people maybe get too excited or something, because they don't have that same realization, or they don't have the realization of what you just explained, which is that he's the CEO of this company who's selling this product. Like, if you go to any financial company right now, they're like, oh yeah, the economy's fine.
Yeah.
Or if you did like a month ago, when like so many financial people knew that that the economy would be in this state because of inflation, what the Federal Reserve is doing and whatnot. But all the people who are investing your money are like, yeah, it's fine, everything's good. We're gonna keep investing.
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna make money.
Totally fine.
They will say that until the stock market's dropped 50%.
Yeah.
And then they'll keep telling you, oh, you got to get in now. You got to get in now because it's going to go up, right?
Yeah.
It's going to go up. And then it'll keep going, It's the same thing for him, but I don't think people realize that. And it's like to then hear like, oh, making self-driving cars is harder than we thought. And it's like, obviously not really, because there were people who were doing it or in that space who were saying that it wasn't.
Yeah, it's all about understanding the biases of the source of information. It's like the same could be said for like CNN or Fox News. Like, when you listen to what they say, you're going like, okay, what do you have to gain to saying something like this? And is there inherent bias here? That's why it's so hard to get your news nowadays and try to find a source that's reputable, credible, reliable, all those things, because quite often, they're run by people who have vested interest in pushing an agenda. and that's no different than the situation we're talking here. And there's a lot of like similar through lines and all that.
Yeah, totally.
Um, one thing I wanted to bring up is I noticed recently, as in like a month ago, that Frontier Airlines has really started cracking down on the personal bag versus carry-on thing.
Okay. I thought you were going to bring up Kanye West, so I'm super happy that you said.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You like personal?
Like
or you seen online?
hardcore crackdown.
I'm a little nervous now because we're flying Spirit. It's probably also doing that. So Vegas.
Yeah, but we're going for like 2 nights. Yeah. So when I last flew Frontier, they were like basically making you take your personal item and put it in that bin. That's like that little size bin, and if it didn't slide down into it, you had to pay. And I've flown Frontier for like 8 years now, and I've never once been asked to put my personal bag in that thing. Because it's like a backpack or it's like my laptop bag, so it's like it looks small. They don't give a fuck anymore, dude. They're like, put it in. They have to like visually verify that it slides in and fits within the thing, or else you have to pay. It is now $90 if you get to during boarding. After they start boarding, it turns into $90.
Are you serious?
So if you get to the front of the line and they ask you to verify your bag and it doesn't fit, and you have, say if you like trying to cram it in, nope, $90.
Wow,
$90.
You should tell Hannah that.
I know.
I remember.
I thought of her.
Yeah, she told us that she never pays for a bag. She always just tries to walk on with it because the amount of time she might get stopped, she'll end up paying less just for that. Because usually it's not as well. It used to not be that. You would just pay like maybe $10 more or something.
And if you have like a purse and like a backpack, nope.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One piece. It has to, and a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll put their little handbag or their little purse inside their backpack or whatever, and like try to make that work. But even if you have a shopping bag, it doesn't count. I saw people with like a backpack and like a white, I don't know. It was like when you go to American Eagle and they give you the big bag.
Oh yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's okay, but what about like if you go to the snack, the newsstand and
you had to put it in your bag.
You get like a bag of popcorn and they're like, sir,
yeah.
$90, please.
It was, I thought they were joking how rude and very serious they were about it when I flew, and I was like, that's kind of weird. I wonder if that was just an isolated incident. I was flying Frontier on the way back from where I was going, and same thing.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Like, super rare. I've seen it before. I've seen all the airlines do it before. United, I've seen them all do it.
To be fair, I have too.
And I'm always nervous because my carry-on is usually pretty stuffed, and it usually wouldn't fit in the carry-on.
Yeah.
Not the personal item, but the carry-on.
Like the under.
Yeah. And so whenever they're like, "Hey, anybody want to check it?" and I know that I've already I've done a check bag. I'll always check my carry-on just in case.
Just in case they say something.
But usually, they're not like if you fly United, they're not really sticklers about it. They're like, if they look at your bag and they're like, "Hey, that's too big," they'll just say, "Can you check it at the gate?"
Yeah,
they don't make you pay for it.
No, they don't. They're pretty good because most times, like you already pointed out, they need people to check bags anyways, so it's almost never an issue because they're like, "Oh yeah, we need volunteers anyway. Now you're a volunteer."
Yeah.
But yeah, with these budget airlines, really starting to crack down.
It's because they're going bankrupt.
Really starting to crack down. Yeah, I mean,
listen, JetBlue is like has to have someone buy them, right? That's how bad it is. For them.
No, Spirit. JetBlue bought Spirit.
Oh right, Spirit.
Yeah. Which like JetBlue is not a budget airline. I'm sorry. What makes JetBlue a budget airline?
They call it that because they don't have first class. I think that's why. They have like mint, I think they call it.
Oh,
It's a little bit nicer seats. It's
gotcha.
kind of like the big
You're
front
the first
seats.
person to point that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, scared because Frontier does the same thing, but they're like slightly bigger, which is like it's laughable.
Frontier seats are literally like if you took this tabletop and then flipped it like almost 90 degrees.
I did fly on one of the newer planes, and now they have like the actual, not the tin plate that comes down behind like the tray table.
Yeah,
Now it's an actual like
it's
tray
like this
table thing.
big.
Yeah. That was laughable. Yeah, JetBlue. Yeah, JetBlue to me in my eyes is not a budget airline, but they're clever for calling themselves a budget airline. And if they do actually qualify because of what you just said, that's interesting to me. I've never heard that anybody point that out. And yeah, you are right. I guess they don't have first class.
Their fares are usually pretty cheap on the
Mhm.
cheaper side too.
Yeah.
Like I would usually see them cheaper than United and
Mhm.
American and Delta.
But I tell you what, like most times I've now tried to book a Frontier flight or looked into doing it, it's almost just as expensive as everybody else now because it's $40. It's $40 per leg to do a carry on. Then it's another 25 for your seat. So that's already and for so round trip, that's like almost $150 basically.
Yeah.
Add on to the base price.
Especially if you have a layover.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the check bag you pay double, but at least for the seat you'll pay for every flight.
Every flight, yeah.
It was like I booked a flight with Lufthansa
Yeah.
to go over to Europe, and their base fare flight. In fact, I don't know if they have a fare. Maybe they do one of the much higher fares where you get free seats. You just pay for the seats when you're booking the flight,
Right.
and the seats are like $40
Jeez.
a flight. And so when you have 4 flights because you have a layover, no, actually I think I have 4 flights. Sometimes I'll have 6 flights because of 3 each way. 4 flights, that's like $200,
Considerable.
you know,
Yeah.
on top of your fare. So it's kind of ridiculous what they're doing. But the only time I fly Spirit and or Frontier now is if it's significantly less.
Yes.
I'm talking like
half.
half.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like it's $450 to fly United, and it's $150, $200 for
Yes.
Spirit, and I don't
All
need to
in,
do
though.
a carry on.
All in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like totally.
We're doing that going to Las Vegas in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Because it was. I just happened to look one day and it was like super cheap for that flight.
Yes, yeah. No, it makes sense, especially if it's a short flight like it is for us. You know, it's like hour and a half,
Yeah.
like from wheels up, wheels down. So it's like, yeah, I can sit in the cardboard seat for an hour and a half, watch an episode of whatever, and
Right.
then we're there. I'm
Imagine
fine with that.
taking international Spirit. or
Oh
Frontier
my
flight.
god, they do have Frontier flights from here to Cancun, which is like considered an international flight, but it's
Yeah.
still less. It's still like shorter than going to like Miami
Yeah,
from
that's right.
Denver. So it's like it doesn't count. I guess
That's
I don't know.
funny. Yeah, actually, I realized they do have international flights because
Mhm.
from Florida they have a bunch that go down
Yeah.
to South America.
They're starting.
Central
They're starting
America.
to like really open up international travel a lot more. Like I've noticed, like United just added nonstop to Australia from Denver, which is kind of nice. I've noticed a lot more Europeans like around, not necessarily Denver, but like other places. So I think you're starting to see a lot of people. Like America definitely was like the first country, and maybe this is biased because we're we live here, but for in terms of like post COVID to like really be like, yeah, we're going back to
Traveling and
normal, traveling, doing our thing, tourism,
Right.
yeah, yada yada.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I just flew to Peru, and like when I got on the plane to go to Peru, I had to put a mask on to go to Peru
Like during the flight?
during the flight.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And who were you flying?
On Delta.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Peru requires it. Peru requires incoming flights. And then,
Interesting.
so I get to Peru airport, I have to wear a mask in the airport, and then I get outside the airport and I can take it off. When I came back to the airport, I had to wear it in the airport again. And as soon as I got on the plane, I was able to take it off because I'm going back to the US.
That's so silly. That's
right?
so silly. So stupid. They're like, don't bring it here, but you can leave with it.
Yeah,
Who the fuck cares?
it's so funny. You get on the flight and the attendants are wearing masks or everything to go there. And you get on the flight to come back and none of them are wearing it.
That's interesting to me because Mexico requires masks at their airports and stuff, and like in transportation and like technically the resorts and stuff. Like they still have a mask policy, but you didn't have to wear it when we were flying there. And I flew Southwest, I believe it was. Yeah, Southwest.
Yeah,
And
so yeah, some of them don't have the requirement for the flights coming in. It's just that you have to wear it when you're in the airport or whatever.
Yeah. But it's funny when I got there, when we landed, they were like, yeah, so like they required masks. If you don't have one, then I don't know, whatever. Like they literally said that because it's Southwest. They're like often like cheeky during their like little in-flight announcements or whatever. And honestly, like, I mean, it was Cancun, so it's a heavy. I feel like if tourism went away, Cancun would just cease to exist. Like it's just like 95% propped up by tourism money.
Totally.
So like nobody was enforcing it. Like I saw many people not wearing one. And I felt like, I mean, when I was at the resort, I didn't wear one, and nobody I saw wore one. I think you were technically supposed to by law, but like nobody, the people at the resort.
Is it really?
Yeah. People at the resort.
Wow.
If you're indoors, if you're
really?
indoors,
This was like a month ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird, right? You're like thinking like Mexico. I wouldn't expect them to have that. Strict kind of.
Because we went to Peru like a week later, and they also were really strict during the last couple of years, and they didn't have that rule anymore.
Yeah,
indoors or anything.
It's interesting.
It was just in the airport.
Yeah, like I had to like I don't know. It's still on their website, like the resort website.
Yeah,
that you still have to wear masks and stuff.
Yeah,
but nobody did.
I wonder if that's old too, because I mean, even like in Peru, they had lots of signs on the doors and stuff like that still. In certain places they would have them, but no, I mean, some employees were wearing them and stuff, but no one was really wearing them. When I went to This was like last year, I think, or no, it was back in last year in November, I think it was. I went to Spain, and I had the same thing where it was got on the plane, went to London, layover, get on the plane to go to Spain, and on that flight I had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But not on the others. So it was strange, but. Yeah, I think it is opening too. I have noticed more international people here in the U.S. When I went to, Sarah and I went to Bryce Canyon National Park, which is in Utah. I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, I think it was at this point. We talked to the guy who owns all the stuff right outside the park. It's like a family business. Well, his family owns it, but he manages it. And he told us that at that time, international travel was like 50% back, maybe. But the people who come to that park, it's like 50% international. And so you can think of at least 50% of your visitors are international, and it's only 50% back. You're really still taking a hit, and that was for a long time.
Down 75%.
Yeah. So he said that we had kind of the travel boom.
Yeah.
You know, kind of later in the pandemic when people were like, "Oh, I'm so sick of being home. Want to go travel." Like, you know, parks and shit exist in the U.S. You can travel in the U.S. People couldn't travel internationally
for COVID. Type of thing.
So you had lots of people going to national parks who weren't going before. So he said that they had this boom where they had lots of people coming, and they were like, "Yes, this is awesome because, you know, tourism's back. They're making money again." And then that kind of slowly died out. People stopped traveling as much in the U.S. Because other things started opening. You could travel internationally again. And so then it became, then, they were kind of struggling again because they didn't have as many international visitors.
That's interesting to me. Yeah, you gotta wonder. It's like all the outdoor stuff definitely was a hot thing during the pandemic.
Yeah,
for sure. It felt safe. If you were even a little bit hesitant about being in like crowded areas or something, it definitely was comforting to know that you could still go and do these things and be and feel safe. You know what bugs me is those people who will show up at the airport in like pajamas, like as comfy clothes as possible for like a 2-hour flight. Or the people who will bring on those big old neck pillows for a 2-hour flight.
yeah.
I'm like, you can't.
Damn, I haven't seen a neck pillow in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I see him still all the time.
Well, you're at the airport a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, why? Okay, walk me through this. Why do you need a neck pillow for a 2-hour flight, homie? Like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
Can you not sit in a seat for 2 hours without cranking your neck, or like, I just don't understand that. Like, and you're gonna have to carry this all over the place.
If you bring a neck pillow on Frontier, does that count as your personal item?
Yeah.
They're like, sir, take it off.
They're like, listen.
It's an accessory.
Dude, I thought I was getting scared because my backpack was kind of full of stuff. And I was like, am I going to have to go to the bathroom and start putting on layers of clothes?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
That's the thing with the carry-on. I've always told myself if they make me check the bag, it's usually tons of clothes in it. I'll just tell them, hold on.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I still have 20 minutes to board. I'm going to go put some clothes on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's so stupid because it'll fit in the overhead bin. It's not going to take any more space than it would have before that someone else could put something, because usually you put it like, flat. So it's just going to take more upper space. No one's putting something above your suitcase.
Yes.
It's about the weight usually.
It's usually, it's about the weight. It's about like,
and making money.
It's like, I think there's a regulation where it has to be under the seat. Like a safety thing.
Oh yeah, so
because
personal
items
totally
have to go under the seat in front of you.
That's a thing, yeah.
Yeah, and it's considered unsafe if it's not, because it could fly up during turbulence and hurt somebody.
Right.
Mostly just yourself, but yeah, it's a good point to make. Like technically, you could like take out all the clothes, put them all on, board, take them all off in the bathroom, and then stuff them right back in your bag.
You know what you should do though? Next time, bring wear a shirt you don't care about, and then bring a thing of super glue. And then if they say something about it, quickly put a bunch of super glue on your shirt, stick your backpack to you, and then just be like, try to take it now.
Or it's part of my clothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's actually not carrying a bag. I'm just wearing a big old shirt.
If I was wearing big cargo pants, would you say something?
Yeah, that's the thing is like, I wonder if anybody's been denied getting on board with like too much like baggy clothes or something. That's like, because like, I don't know, man, I do remember seeing like an article or this story online. It was like this guy who tried to fit all of his clothes on, and he ended up like almost dying. And they had to like cut the clothes off because he tried to put so much clothes on to avoid paying like, I don't know, it was like $40. Like, that guy's frugal as fuck.
That's really stupid.
Oh my God. Speaking of frugal, I was watching a girl who's like does frugal TikToks and stuff. And she was showing you like how much energy, like just having like a phone charger plugged in annually cost you, like without even using it, like just plugged in.
Yeah.
It was like $1.90 a year just to have it plugged in.
She was like, guys, you are wasting money.
You're like, come on, people, get with the program. That's $1.90. You got 7 of these plugged into your house. I'm like, who has 7 phone chargers plugged into the house?
Yeah. And she's like, $7 a year times 300 million people in the U.S. It's like, we could be saving billions of dollars, people.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's great. Then I was like, man, I got a lot of shit plugged in. Got a lot of shit plugged in that I'm not using.
I was just thinking the other day, I have one of those automated espresso machines
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
just
yeah.
press the button and it makes the
Those
espresso.
things use a lot of power, right? Because it has like a compressor in it.
I would think so
Yeah.
when they're making it at least, and also they have a heating element. They actually
Yeah.
keep the top. There's a metal piece on the top that keeps warm, so you can put cups on it
Oh,
to
it just
warm up the
stays
cups.
warm no matter what.
Yeah, it warms up that little plate, and then it stays warm while you have it on.
Oh, while you have it on,
Yeah,
so
so
it's
you,
not constantly an ambient. Okay,
right. So you could turn the device on, leave it on there. It turns on in the morning. Have the cups will warm up, and then you
that's
make
kind of
your
nice.
espresso.
Yeah.
Uh, it will stay on for like 4 hours maybe
Oh my god.
before it turns off. Before auto turns off, you can turn it off yourself, but it'll auto
Four
turn off.
hours. Why so long?
Maybe if you want to have it in a shop or something, I'm not really sure.
I guess.
Um,
Also, like that just seems like a waste of energy.
Yeah, it's super
Because
weird.
doesn't like the coffee cup get warm
Yeah, there's really
from
no
pouring
reason.
the coffee in?
There's no reason for it, but sometimes I'll make something. I'll make a cup in the morning, and then I'll think. I mean, I usually try to turn it off, but sometimes I think, oh, maybe I want another
Maybe, yeah.
single shot later or something, and then I'll just leave it on for a bit, thinking, oh, I'll turn it off in a little bit, and then I forget about it. But I was just thinking yesterday how much energy that's probably costing my electric bill. But I was more worried about just wasting the energy because, like, I don't know, maybe you think that's going to be more than $10, $10 of wasted a year or something.
I
Maybe
don't
a
know.
little more,
You could definitely measure it. You could measure
$50.
it.
But I mean,
Yeah, typically in the user manual, it will give you like energy
yeah,
usage
it's Energy
information.
Star certified.
Yeah. Like when I bought the Keyser that houses the kegs for the bar here, on the box it was like, yeah, it costs, I don't know what it was. I think it was like $19 a year or something like that to run it. Or like, I don't know, maybe it was like $25 a year.
TVs always say that.
Yes.
It's like how much it would cost on average to.
Doesn't anybody care? Does anybody care about the TV thing?
I don't think so. I guess it makes you more aware. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, maybe I should make sure to turn off my TV or something.
Yeah.
Not waste energy. But ultimately, I don't. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, maybe if you live in
LEDs.
Texas and it's like there's a freeze coming or
Yeah.
something.
Or you're in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
This
Europe.
winter is gonna be kind of sketch for Germans.
I know.
You know. So turn off your espresso machines, Germans.
Yeah. Maybe you guys should get like the pedal warmers. You just like pedal.
Yes.
It creates energy.
Oh, there you
to
go.
warm your house.
Yeah. If you get a vat of radioactive isotopes and you hold that real close, it radiates a little bit of heat.
Germany. I don't know if they shut down all of the plants yet, but they voted. I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago at this point, 3 or 4 years, 5 years, to get rid of all of their nuclear power.
Why?
Because there's arguments for and against nuclear power.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of Europe has a very negative view of nuclear energy because of disasters that have happened in Europe, like in Ukraine.
Totally. Yeah.
The how to actually care for the waste and stuff like that. Like a lot of people just had a very negative view of it. There are some countries and people there, groups of people who are very pro nuclear energy, but they're very against it apparently because the majority of them voted it out, I guess, or they elected people who voted it out. And
yeah, Germany for some reason, it's weird. You're right. They do have a very clear stance on it. There's a whole show called Dark on Netflix. It's very good. It's one of my favorite shows, but it's
a foreign one, right?
Yeah, it's dubbed in English. I mean, I would recommend watching it in German, yeah, with subtitles. But there's the town that the story takes place in is a town that's right next to a nuclear power plant. And during the course of the show, the power plant is in the process of being decommissioned. And then that was my first kind of exposure to like the Germans' whole philosophy or opinion on the matter.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly it is. I mean, I know Chernobyl probably had some kind of impact
That was in
because
Ukraine, though, right?
yeah, but the radioactive cloud spread across Europe, and
Yes.
so it actually impacted a lot of the European countries, which is why people are afraid now because Ukraine still has a lot of nuclear energy. They have a lot of nuclear power plants, and so with Russia doing missile strikes and stuff like that, they're nervous that
Something could happen again.
you have to care for the plant. Like that's one of the things that I don't think the pro nuclear energy people consider as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how advanced your technology is or how well you can care for the waste of nuclear, what you have to do with the core afterward when when you can't use it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a war and the other side wants to sabotage it, they could potentially cause a catastrophe.
Right.
And I mean, some people would say, "Oh, yeah, but the pros of nuclear energy are
like outweigh that."
Yeah, it's like, what's the chance that you're gonna have a? Well, I mean, there's one now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could you could have another a much worse Chernobyl happen. Like they had it in well, they had it in Japan because of us, but also because of the tsunami.
Yeah.
That years back.
Natural, like we shouldn't plan on putting any nuclear power plants like in Florida or like on
but they have several.
They do. Yeah,
like near Miami, near Orlando.
Yeah, but they're more like inland, I think, right? Besides maybe the Miami
so.
one.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Miami one was such a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what they've done to it now? Like I doubt it's that close to the shore. You don't have tsunami. I mean, I guess there's not a plate close enough to where you'd have tsunamis right there.
Yeah.
If you have a hurricane, it's probably very hurricane proof. You'd have to have the worst hurricane that's ever hit the earth probably have an issue there. But people have to maintain it. So if you don't have people maintaining it, then you could have a meltdown.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's a trade-off, right? Yeah. You're totally correct in saying that, but I think just given the gravity of the alternatives, putting that into perspective starts to make the nuclear argument very appealing, I think.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, yeah, now it's very appealing because what Europe and Germany, I think, have learned is that when you're not best buds with the guys who make most of the oil, then you could, like, their economy could easily be completely wiped out if Russia really wanted to.
Yeah, right.
Like if they wanted to go to all-out war with them, take away the entire oil supply. I mean, like it gets fucking cold there, People need energy to stay warm. You need energy to run freight and all those kind of things. And it's not like you can just start up a nuclear power plant right away. It takes a lot of time to go back and reuse one, I guess. So yeah, I think it's a way for countries to become to not be reliant on other people who they can't control.
It's sad to say, but that's kind of the name of the game now, is trying to nationalize your supply chain.
Yeah.
I think COVID and this whole war situation really made that apparent, is like you can't rely on your allies, or at least the people you have trade pacts with, to really hold their end of the bargain when shit hits the fan.
Yeah, totally. Or if you have a group of people who come into power who change something, it's like, oh yeah, 80 years ago we were literally at war with Germany, and now they're like kind of our best friend, right? We have a super good relationship with Germany.
Yeah, we like Bitcoin, they like Bitcoin.
Like we literally have a pact to protect each other. If Germany gets attacked, we protect them. If we get attacked, they'll protect. I mean, We'll see.
Yeah, I was like, I always think about that. I'm like, who's gonna help who?
Yeah.
I feel like if shit goes down in America, I don't know how. I don't know. How do you feel about that? If like,
Well, the thing is, it's a lot. It's like significantly harder for someone to attack us than it is most
Yeah.
other countries,
Right, yeah,
besides
'cause-
like Australia,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know. Canada starts getting
Eh,
shady. You never know.
yeah.
Those Mounties.
Yeah, they start letting the Russians in through the
Yeah,
the ice
the
bridge.
ice bridge, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it we can say, yeah, Germany's great. They do good things, right? Like they're pretty progressive. They have pretty good mindset of like, oh, we would never want like the Holocaust to happen again.
Yeah.
That was a horrible thing.
Yeah.
We teach our kids in school not to, that was bad. Um, but imagine you have a very nationalist group come into power again. Like they just had in Italy,
Yeah.
the group that came into power is kind of more like that. Kind of like how I'm not trying to say Trump and his party are the equivalent of like the Nazis or anything, but it is very nationalist.
Yes.
Like that's what nationalism is. It's like America first, like but before anyone else. Like the jobs here, we need to bring back jobs here. We can't be reliant on anyone else. Like we're the best. We have to be the best country, and I agree with some of that. Like you have to be, because if you rely on the other countries, whether they're your friends or not, if they have someone who becomes anti-globalism, anti-other countries, anti-America, then you're screwed.
I think it's like, I think the whole idea of like America being the best country, I think the idea of being the best country is like the biggest difference between Donald Trump's like vision for that and like everybody else, like everybody who wasn't a fan of him. Like my vision of the best country is like obviously freedom, in freedom meaning like of expression and speech and ideology and religion, but also just like healthcare,
So a welfare
and
system that actually
education.
works.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Education. Like we're definitely not the best country when it comes to education, and I think that's where you start if you want to have the best country. Is like having the most educated country, and I don't think that was something that his party prioritized at the time.
I think that is one thing that a lot of the people who not for like loan forgiveness, but making college cheaper or free, paid for through taxes
Free.
or other ways,
Yeah.
right? Is that it's a bigger it's more of an incentive for people to go to college, to get more advanced degrees, to have more advanced jobs, to keep America more competitive. So like it's the argument's kind of annoying usually, because it's like free or nothing. It's like either college needs to be free, we need to forgive loans, or it needs to be still super expensive. Like, no, we're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's
There's
like
no middle ground.
There's no
Yeah.
making it like I think I think some public universities in Germany, for instance, I think they're free. There's some where you pay a certain amount. I don't know if that's for sure, if there actually is free university, but I know if you do go get a degree at a decent college there, you don't pay too much money, but you do pay some money for different things. Maybe something like that.
What if you like? What if college education was free, like from a monetary standpoint, but like in return you had to do like 1,000 hours of community service or something, where like basically each like community had its own college and you could go there and get an education, but then you were giving back to the community in terms of like service. And like that's how like not government jobs, but like you feel like jobs that a lot of people don't want to do, or things of that nature.
Well, that's That's kind of like what some other countries do.
But isn't it like that's kind of like what Israel does, right? You can get like a
Well,
free education there, and you have to like enroll in the military.
everyone has to enroll in the military.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but
But
isn't everybody get free education over there too?
maybe, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Here you can enroll in the military and get free education as well.
That's true.
So
That's
there is
true.
that. I mean,
Oh, there you go. You don't need that $100,000 education.
There's a lot of ways that you can get a cheaper education. I mean, our brother got his master's degree, for instance,
Yeah.
paid for with the stipend, but for several years after he graduated, he had to work for a government agency, a certain type of government agency. We're not going to say what they do. Maybe they kill children, but
Terrorists.
but yeah, there's totally. I mean, that's an example of that.
Mhm.
To me, that sounds a bit better than getting a private loan at 7% interest or something like that.
You know what bothers me is when people that have this argument about school being so expensive, and they talk about people getting like these bullshit degrees and then being $150,000 in debt.
Right.
I'm just like, what bullshit degree is going to give you that much debt? I don't understand that.
It's private colleges.
I just
Yeah. So
Is it?
yeah, totally. So think about this. So we went to a public university in the state that we lived in.
Yeah.
So we had in-state tuition.
Why doesn't everybody do that though?
Because not every state has that
Really?
or has it to the degree. Yeah, Florida has like one of the best in-state tuition things.
Okay.
But yeah, to your point, that's true. For instance, if you live in a state that doesn't have a good engineering program at one of the universities, you may want to go to like,
Campus.
yeah, UF, for instance, has a good engineering program, and,
Okay.
and it's also a cheaper university versus, or somewhere that's less competitive than like MIT or something. So not every state has that. There's other reasons. I mean, people go to these Ivy League schools or they go to private colleges because they couldn't get into.
I don't even think Ivy League colleges are that expensive.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So think about this. If you go to school for 4 years and your tuition is $30,000 a year, your books and stuff are several $1,000s. You have the living costs, so you have to pay for your apartment. There's thousands of dollars more every year. Within 4 years, plus, not everyone gets all that unsubsidized. So some people have to take out more private loans, which aren't subsidized by the government. So that's built capital, or it's compounding interest every day.
Mm-hmm.
You can easily end up with $100,000 to $200,000 in debt.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, for instance, optometry school, which my wife went through, her tuition was between 30 and 35,000, I think, a year.
Yeah.
And she had to buy some equipment, and then she had living costs and stuff, and yeah, it was over 150. It was like, but because interest was compounding on that,
Yeah,
it was closer to $200,000 in debt.
but I think the point I was trying to make at the beginning was like when they talk about you getting these bullshit degrees, like what you just talked about was like, oh, going to a school out of state because it has a good engineering program, or a good this, but you're not going out of state or across the nation to get a humanities degree or whatever. Like every college has that. You can go to fucking community college and get that degree.
Right.
Like those aren't the degrees that you're getting into $150,000 in debt.
Right.
I think it's very hard to go get a humanities degree and be $150,000 in debt. And if you do, you did it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And maybe that's me being naive and like ignorant to the fact that maybe the person that went out and did that thought that was normal, or didn't understand that there were other ways to get that degree at a significant discount.
I think it's probably both those things plus. I think a lot of, like, probably most cases of it is ignorance.
Yeah.
It's people who are coming out of high school, they're going into college, they probably don't have a good grasp over finances. Maybe they didn't have someone who really taught them about it. I mean, it's easy if you're pretty well educated in finances, or the repercussions of taking out a loan, what that even means. Some people, I think, don't even realize what interest on a loan is, like what
Maybe
it
that
means
should
to
be a
borrow.
part of your college exam,
Yeah,
like to get in is like
you have to take a test on how
on
loans work.
finances. Yeah. You're just like, just so you know what
Yeah.
you're getting into, here's the baseline information you need to know before you sign on the dotted line.
I think a lot of people have said in high school that should be a required.
Well, that's high school, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about like, I don't know. I feel like before you take out all these loans, there should be some person who's, maybe it's the person administrating or writing the loan or underwriting the loan, whatever it's called. That's just gonna have like a 10 to 15-minute conversation with you
Yeah.
about the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, but the thing is, when the government guarantees the loan, then it's probably like you don't care as the loan writer.
I know, but that's why I'm saying there should be laws
the government
to protect.
should require it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, there was there was a huge thing years back where it was like predatory colleges, predatory universities, where all these as soon as student loans became much larger, I can't remember who. I think it was Obama who made them even more easier to get, or I think it was Pell Grants that he was giving out.
Yeah. Sally Mae, something like that.
I don't know, but at some point it became much easier and easier to get student loans. More and more people were taking them out, and you had a lot of private colleges that were popping up, and they were taking people's money essentially to go there. And I think a lot of them were legit, but they were paying tons of money for a subpar education because the government's guaranteeing that the loans are good.
Mm-hmm.
The colleges are getting paid. They're not giving out the loans.
Right.
The loan givers, I don't know if they're called the underwriters.
Yeah.
They don't care either because they're still going to get paid. Like if they don't get paid the interest over the 30 years, oh, okay, they didn't make as much money, but they get their money back.
Yeah, right.
The government's going to give it back.
The government's good for it.
The private loans, I guess, they don't get back as much, but those have such high interest. I mean, they have actuaries working on this that they balance out somehow. They're like mortgages.
Right. Yeah.
And
there's risk involved, so that's why the interest is so much higher.
Right. Yeah. And then you had like what was it, Polytechnic University and stuff like that. Those ones that defrauded people.
Yes.
Or frauded. I don't know.
Funny enough, Trump's
Trump University.
Yeah, Trump University was one of them. But the appointee for the Department of Education, the head of the department, was like basically found guilty of being in on that scam. Did you know that?
Betsy.
Yes.
DeVos or whatever.
Yeah.
Really?
To be. Yeah. She was like, I don't know if she like found guilty or any like that type of thing, but like
but she had some kind of relation to it.
She had a relationship with it. Yeah. So it's like,
funny.
Yeah, I know, but I mean that just goes to show you he knows how to pick them. Question on those private loans: do they require insurance on those loans?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of times you need a guarantor or whatever.
Oh, okay. Somebody to co-sign with you.
So you probably have a parent who's co-signing.
Interesting.
I don't,
because for a mortgage, if you don't put down at least 20% of the loan value, they require you by law usually to have a private mortgage insurance.
No, I don't think
overlay.
so. Yeah, I think probably most cases. That's why a lot of people. Because I never understood there was an argument where it was like, oh, I couldn't go to college. A lot of people who are in underserved communities can't go to college, and you're always thinking, how can you not go to college? Anyone can get a student loan.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That doesn't even make sense. Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, okay, if you only wanted to go to college for a humanities degree and you know that you're not going to make your money back, okay. But
isn't it the nature of the loan, right? Like for instance, with the difference between a education loan and a mortgage loan is you can file for bankruptcy with your mortgage, and you basically like won't have to end up paying all of it. But with a education loan, you can't file for bankruptcy against it. They literally will follow you till you die.
Yeah, I guess I don't. that's probably true for private loans too, I would
Yeah.
guess, because then there would be a loophole. You could just refinance as a private
Yeah.
loan and then not pay it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I guess so. I do know that private loans are pretty significantly more expensive.
Mhm.
I think they're like between, well, if a government loan backed loan was like 6%, I think they were more like 9
Yeah.
to 12%, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Janie had some that were like 3%, 4%, and then her private loans through like Sally Mae or whatever it was. Those were like
she had 3 and
6.
4%. Were they undergraduate?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh
okay.
huh. Uh huh.
I got it.
Through like what was the thing you had
Wow,
to
that's
apply
really
for?
cheap. FAFSA.
Yeah, FAFSA.
FAFSA.
Yes,
Yeah.
FAFSA. Yeah.
Such a weird
I
word.
know it is. Yeah, but you had. I remember. I mean, we were fortunate to have our college paid for, but I remember everybody being like, "Yo, can't wait till that FAFSA check come in."
Yeah.
Gotta pay for all this stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, and that just goes to show you the carelessness of and the financial mindset of a 18-year-old.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the whole ignorant thing,
Yeah.
I think it's probably mostly that is people just really don't understand. I think when you put someone into the shoes that they're going to be in 10 years later or 5 years later, I guess, assuming they graduate college. That's another thing. A lot of people don't end up graduating, so they have a lot of loans.
Yeah.
Imagine if you went to medical school and then you end up
Oh my God.
getting kicked out 2 years in. Yeah, usually a lot of times if you talk to someone 5 years later, they really regret how much they sit there and think, oh, I should have eaten cheaper or something, shouldn't have gone out as much, shouldn't
Yeah.
have used it for this or that, or just tried to be tighter with the money, maybe gotten a job while you were in college, whatever it is.
Yeah. Work part time or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Because they look at how much money they owe now and what their income is.
Did you ever work part time in college?
Yeah, I worked in a research lab
Oh yeah, that's right.
for
Shoe shine.
with Shoeshine.
Yeah.
I worked in it for a year, I think, and then I don't think I worked the other 2 years.
You bum.
I know. Just drank alcohol.
Just partied way too hard. No,
Learned stuff.
I had a job pretty consistently throughout.
Yeah, you worked like fast foodish,
Yeah.
fast casual kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
you did more like career like work.
Yes. Yeah, it was like time to give up my career as being a food service employee, which I found my way back into that industry somehow.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
never
weird.
thought that was gonna happen, but
Yeah.
it did.
Maybe you should open a Moe's.
Fuck no, dude. No. You want to lose all your money? Open a restaurant. No, in the right place, you could. I feel like if you opened up a Chick-fil-A, that could be profitable.
Yeah, if you can get a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, if you could get one, there's a
franchise.
pretty big long wait list for that right now. I feel like Raising Cane's is doing pretty good. A lot of the chicken places are a hot thing right now.
It's a fad, right?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Chick-fil-A is not a fad.
No, it's been popular for a long time.
Yeah, they had the whole
I feel like
anti-gay thing for a
didn't
while.
stop 'em.
Didn't. I mean, that just goes to show you how powerful that brand
They could
is.
say it again if they wanted.
Yeah,
to.
they were like,
Yeah.
we openly
They might
support.
lose a couple cars in the car line, but
Yeah.
they could use it.
Yeah,
be honest.
yeah. Come
They're
on.
like, oh, we have an issue. We have too many cars.
Yeah, it's time to break out the anti-trans situation.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't said anything about that yet.
I think one of the families, the family that owns it, one of the family members is like either trans or gay or something like that.
No way.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. So they probably didn't really like that.
Yeah. No, probably not.
Wow.
Probably not.
Who-
They're probably not getting a dime.
Who was it? Was it the founder or was it just someone?
Yeah, I think it's like the founder or something. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not gonna talk shit about Chick-fil-A. I love their chicken, and I think they've really toned that down in the last 5 years or so. I mean, I don't think they really fucking care anymore.
I feel like I don't usually go there. In fact, I I stopped going there even before I stopped eating chicken
Yeah.
because the line was always so long.
Yes. I honestly didn't notice the line long until I moved to Denver, and then I was like, "Damn, these lines are long here." For some reason,
Yeah,
people
same
just love
same
this
in
shit.
Fort Lauderdale. There was always it's like the
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 lanes of just
Yeah,
cars from the
it's
front from
insane.
the front of the drive-through all the way to the. It was like always perfect. It was like never running into the street. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's that burger joint called? Fucking ruined all the traffic
Oh,
patterns
In and Out.
around there. Yeah,
Yeah,
close the whole street just
yeah,
for
close
them.
the whole street. Yeah, I mean, I think the key with opening up the right kind of restaurant is just focusing on a very narrow set of things and then just perfecting that and then just do that. That's what Chick-fil-A does. That's what Raising Cane's does. That's what In-N-Out does. And then providing just really good culture around that business. Chick-fil-A, there's a reason why they were able to survive all of the controversy, the scale of incredible growth was because they had such a almost borderline cult-like culture within the company. So they made sure the brand integrity stayed intact no matter how many they built. Like when you open up and you're a franchisee of Chick-fil-A, you have to go to these like annual seminars. And like it's from what I've heard, it's very like it's like a motivating thing and they get you excited about it. And I've seen people come back from those things like just completely their mindset transformed in terms of like let's go out and get it.
Yeah,
Let's like
it sounds very
Chick-fil-A.
cult-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um and so when you have that culturally in the company in terms of the way you do business, you can scale indefinitely. Because if you scale too quickly without that mindset, your brand starts to fall apart because you don't have people representing the brand, and then it just starts to snowball into something that people don't care for. Because part of the food experience, the chicken's good, okay? Fried peanut oil chicken is good. Waffle fries, iconic. The Chick-fil-A sauce, really yummy.
The
Okay.
waffle fries are something I still crave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that
I still
McDonald's
do.
fries?
No, the waffle fries. I don't know what like they must have something really good in them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But when you go to a Chick-fil-A, the experience has to be the same every time. It has to be hospitable. So it's the pairing. It's when good hospitality comes with good food is really when the success starts to bleed out and people start to recognize and understand, and then they start to crave it because it's part of that consistency standpoint. If you went to Chick-fil-A and every other visit, you ever been go to a restaurant and every other visit's like kind of hit or miss?
yeah,
It's like it really like you don't end up going to that restaurant anymore.
yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, like I remember going one time to a Wendy's. Bringing up Wendy's again. And it wasn't the same one I live near. Yeah, I went there and I ordered, and I think I waited 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and then I just left.
Yeah.
I paid and everything.
Really?
Yeah, I just
and
left.
you're just like, fuck this. I'm
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
I was like, I can't wait any longer. I'm not gonna.
Yes.
This is insane.
I know several people, and our dad's like this, where if they have a terrible experience, they will make an effort not to go there anymore.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they will like 100 feet distance of that business establishment at all costs, and those are not those are that's a very common mindset to have when you have those experiences. So like,
Well, I stopped going to Chick-fil-A because the line was always so long. No, it was like, why would I sit in this line?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's just food. I just need to eat.
That's crazy that like the biggest problem with Chick-fil-A is that their lines are too long.
Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, their food's good. I've never had an issue with it being with the food, being wrong. Anything. The people are always nice. Yeah, it's the line is just too long.
Yeah, that's when you know to start investing in that business.
Yeah, I mean, Popeyes came out with their chicken sandwich that everyone got crazy about it, and then nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, because when you go to, I've been to Popeyes where like I can honestly say most times I've been to a Popeyes, which is only like maybe I can count on my hand how many times I've been to Popeyes, but most of those times have not been great experiences.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Same with McDonald's, right? I remember going there when we were younger, and they got the order wrong all the
all the
time.
time, all the time.
All the
But
time.
the difference between McDonald's and Chick-fil-A isn't the service, really. I mean, it is, right? It's all those things.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference from anything in McDonald's is the price point.
Right.
I don't think you can go anywhere else and get a cheaper meal than McDonald's.
Sure.
Prove me wrong. I mean, I guess you could go. I mean, it depends on what you call a meal, but like, and that's a whole nother conversation. But like, in terms of like drink side entree, McDonald's cheapest. I mean, maybe Taco Bell, but those are one and the same.
Different types of food.
Exactly, they're one and the same. Yeah. I would say they're obviously not the same cuisine, but like
you usually don't crave both of them at the same time.
You can have McDonald's right next to a Taco Bell, and they're not in direct competition with each other. It's like, yeah, it's either you want a hamburger
or cheesy fiesta potatoes.
Yeah, or a taco. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why. I mean, yeah, I don't think. I guess in a way you could have an argument that they are in direct competition because of the value. You know, and I think that's what made them to this day so relevant is the price point.
Yeah, totally. I mean, when you could get a burger on Wednesdays for 50 cents, you know, or on the normal day $1, that was cheap for fast food.
But for me, it's all about that nostalgia. You know, because I don't really. I mean, I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, I'm not like trying to go out there and find a cheap like a $3, $4 meal.
Yeah,
I'm out there. You know, if I go to McDonald's, it's because like I specifically like was thinking about those fries and the saltiness and the ones that were like burnt, and you're like you get one of those, and yeah, and the smell as soon as they open up that window and give that to you, and you're like, oh, this is going to be good for the first 5 minutes, and I'm going to hate myself afterwards.
Yeah. Isn't that weird how when you're fortunate enough to not think about how much the food is, you stop eating that stuff as much.
Yeah.
It's more just like a treat, or when you're kind of craving it. Like I remember when I would think about, okay, if I go to Taco Bell, I can spend $4 and get an entire meal.
Yeah.
You know, and a Baja Blast. And now, first off, it sounds disgusting. And second, I don't think of what's the cheapest thing. When I go to the airport, I'm not like, what's the cheapest thing here I can get? Because it's all kind of expensive anyway. I just think of what sounds good right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a whole thing where, you know, healthy food costs more than unhealthy food. I think that's why you see a lot of impoverished communities have higher obesity rates and all that. But one thing I want to point out that you brought up about Taco Bell, I love how like when I do go to Taco Bell and I get to the drive-thru and like, can I take your order? I'm like, yeah, can I get that Doritos Locos Tacos? Can I get a 5 beefy layer burrito? And they're like, okay, what would you like to drink? I'm like, what do I want to drink? Bitch, you already know what I want to drink. You, like, why are you even asking me? There's one reason why I'm here.
Right.
It's for that delicious Baja Blast.
Uh-huh.
Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
there should be no other drink that you carry on tab at Taco Bell. I don't want your fucking Sierra Mist. I don't want your fucking Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, whatever the fucking stupid ass shit you got. I want the Baja. I want that blue goodness.
Yeah, don't put too much ice in it either.
All I gotta say is give me that blue, and you should already know what to give me.
That was good. If you know what would make Taco Bell visitors so happy is if they just automatically said that, like, oh, in a Baja Blast?
Yeah, and a question mark, and you're like, yes.
And you either say, no, I'll take a Pepsi, which if that's what you're saying at Taco Bell, why are you there? Or you just say, yeah.
That's the thing is like Chick-fil-A, their mantra is my pleasure. You say anything, ask for anything. Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure. It should be. And what size do you want your Baja Blast to be? Should be the Taco Bell mantra after everything you say.
Yeah.
Hey, where's the bathroom? Over there. Thank you. Yeah, and what what size Baja Blast do you want?
Do you think that they make the least amount of money off of Baja Blast? That's why they don't say it. They hope that you order a Pepsi.
No, I think that's the one thing that's kept Taco Bell so relevant is that Baja Blast. Yeah.
If you're Mountain Dew, you could charge them as much as you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Taco Bell can't get rid of it.
I think what they should have done up front, Taco Bell should have been like 20-year deal. 20-year deal.
They knew it was going to be popular. As soon as they knew it was popular, they're not telling Mountain Dew. They're like, yeah, it's not really that good.
When Amazon came in to buy the rights to Thursday Night Football, they didn't go, let me get 2 years of Thursday Night Football. They went, let me get 12 years of Thursday Night Football. They know what they're doing. They know how valuable that asset is. And so they went for the long deal. Got to go for that long deal. Okay. You know how much they paid for that deal?
$1 billion.
Like billions, yeah.
Billions.
Like $12 billion.
Wow.
It was incredible.
For one day of football?
One day. You know how much fucking viewership they get? There's like 40 million viewers watching one night of football. It's incredible.
So everyone has to get a Prime membership now?
Yeah.
That's annoying. That is one thing about sports that really pisses me off. About cable, that really pisses me off, I should say, is that they don't play the same team on the same channels. And it's like you can literally have cable and live in the state that team plays in, and you may not be able to watch that team play.
It's so true. I was watching the Browns and the Steelers play, and Logan, who's a Steelers fan, who lives in Baltimore, closer, I don't know how many, it's like 4 hours away probably.
Yeah.
I was able to watch it. He couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the Avs. You can't just go on to the local channels here and pull up the Avs game. You have to like buy the thing.
Yeah.
It's a marketing thing.
I feel like, okay, if you live in the city, that's ridiculous because you're paying fucking tax dollars for their stadium and shit, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
You should get it for free.
So true. That's so fucking true. It's like, okay, you're Denver Metro resident. Okay, yeah, you get that free channel.
Right.
Then you got to get those bunny ears though, which they decommissioned. You can still buy those digital ones though.
Oh yeah.
They still do those over the air channels. Yeah, I used to have one that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought they got rid of it like 20 years ago.
They did, but there's still something that you can pick. There's
a device. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. I had one for the longest time, and I couldn't get it to work because our apartment building that I lived in at the time just was built where even my cell signal was like terrible.
It was just all cement.
It was bad. It made for good soundproofing, but it was like just nothing got through. So I ended up selling it because I couldn't use it. But yeah, you can still buy them on Amazon. You get free cable. It's like local channels and shit like that.
Why did you buy it?
Because I was a frugal motherfucker, and I was just like, free channels. I think it was like on wish.com I bought it.
That's so funny because if you just have Roku or something, I'm pretty sure you get the same thing.
It was before all these streamers came.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was like, now you get like
doesn't your
Tubu
Sony TV
and Fubo and Freevo, and Amazon has one. Yeah,
one of your random smart TVs has its own channel.
Yeah, it's like Samsung TVs come with it. Yeah, Samsung has their own free TV. It's just internet streaming. But it's all built into your TV. Look like a channel guide.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know, seeing on a TikTok once where someone was like, "Did you know you have all these free channels on Roku or whatever it was? Go to this app." And everyone's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" I'm like, "You wouldn't watch any of these channels." I mean,
no. It's like Fear Factor channel. There's like the Bob Ross channel. Yeah. It's like
you have
shit
Netflix.
Like that.
Come on, what are you watching commercials for?
Yeah, exactly. It's it's become like cable television is so devalued now. It's incredible. Like, yeah, so Samsung has it. Amazon has their own free TV thing. It's called Freevee, I think. But it's like all with ads. They recognize that if you just use ads, that can basically supplement the cost of actually putting the service out there.
So when you're running replays of How I Met Your Mother or some other show that wasn't bought up by Fox or someone like that, or Netflix or whatever, Peacock, those actors who are getting the royalties or movies that are playing on cable now, they're probably getting a lot less than they used to, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because like, okay, let's talk about Friends for a second, right? Friends went into syndication and then started doing repeats on I can't remember what channel it was. It might have been like it might have been like Nick at Night. So I think it might have been like what's the Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central,
TBS.
Yeah, it's all part of the same group.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But they then sold the license to Netflix.
Right. Yeah, but I mean that's what I'm
saying.
So
that Netflix deal was worth, millions of dollars, potentially billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So they get a cut of that.
But if you're still just on cable though.
If you're still just on cable, yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah, it depends.
But probably a lot of the shows that did go into syndication probably are being bought up, right?
The ones that were making enough money to be like, it's a substantial amount of money, probably were popular enough to get license deals with like Hulu and all these other, Amazon or
right.
Yeah.
Did The Office get that?
Office is an NBC owned TV show, and they have their own platform.
Yeah, but it was on Netflix and
it was
for a while.
So
then did the actors get some of that?
I guess
money?
it depends. I guess it depends on their deal, right? I don't know how syndication. I think it's like after X amount of episodes, everybody gets like syndication money.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's my understanding of it.
But otherwise, you get nothing after that.
Yeah, unless your contract has
something
written in it where you get a back end. They're called back end deals. Basically, it's like there's like front end and back end. Front end is like, okay, we're gonna pay you X amount, and then after that you get nothing. And then or there's like a lot of people, like Kevin Hart's very famous for doing back end deals where he will take no money. I think he took no money for like Jumanji.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then he gets like all the back end.
He made
deals
a ton of money.
He
probably
on
made more money. Than he would have.
He's smart because he knew like there's another famous case, Jewel, the artist, the recording artist, the singer-songwriter, big in the 90s, before our time, but she was very famous for doing back-end deals too, where she was seeing in the 90s, there was a lot of singer-songwriters and grunge bands going into the scene and getting these big record deals, but the record deals would be like, we'll give you a fuck ton of money, and that'll pay for the album, that'll pay for the tour, that'll pay for this, and it'll be also a large sum that you get, as a bonus, whatever. Yeah. But she was like, I don't want that. Just pay for the record, pay for this.
Because she knew she was good, right?
Well, I think she just believed in herself, and it was like that kind of mindset. And so she was like, I'll take money from the record sales on the back end. And then she made tons of money because she went like quadruple platinum on some of her albums. And so she made just tons of money. It's a risky move because you have to like believe in what you're putting out there. You have to understand that you have to understand the business a little bit, because if you're naive and you're coming in and you're like, you don't really understand the business aspect, but you're really good at what you do, but you don't understand like finance, you don't understand contracts, you don't understand business models, things like that. You just go you'll just take whatever is given to you.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be a little savvy in that way. So I think she saw a lot of people around her getting those deals and just wanted to do a different approach to it.
So it could be kind of like if you were getting an NFL contract and it was performance based versus
Except I don't think you want to do back end deals on NFL. Because injuries are so common that you just take the money and run.
Yeah, or you pay like $100 million for a quarterback.
If Tom Brady knew he was going to be Tom Brady and he did a back end deal.
Yeah.
Man, it's like, okay, for every Super Bowl you bring in,
Oh my god.
we'll give you like $1 billion. And
Yeah.
it's just like nobody would ever take that deal because like getting a Super Bowl is so fucking incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And it's so unlikely. You just want to take the upfront money.
You know what I realized about Tom Brady the other day?
What?
That the team he plays for has the same initials.
Yeah, Tampa Bay.
I,
Tom
I,
Brady.
yeah, I'd never thought about that before. I was like, that's why he went there.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it makes so much sense. It's for the brand, dog.
Yeah.
It's for the
so
brand.
when it would be on TV, it's not Tampa Bay, it's Tom
It's
Brady.
Tom Brady. Everybody be thinking Tampa Bay, but it's really me, dog. No, it's a good move. You see, he's getting divorced now.
Is he getting divorced?
Well, they hired divorce lawyers, which,
yeah.
the writing's on the wall.
I knew there
on
was
that
a
one.
bunch of. I mean, it made sense, right? Like,
What do you mean?
well, because the reason he allegedly that he originally retired was because his wife wanted him to retire.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she was like, didn't think that he spent enough time with the family.
Which he totally didn't. I mean, if you knew the guy,
Not if you're that good.
His like schedule is so rigid.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. I mean, it paid off.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
He's the greatest player to ever play the sport, undoubtedly. By like you can't
Steroids.
the roids, bro.
Yeah. She was upset about it, so he retired. Everything's good, and then a couple of months later, he comes out of retirement. I mean, then it's like, how does his wife feel about that? So that happened. So like I read about that back when he retired. That was well, at least that's what people said the reason was. And then more recently, it was she started kind of being more vocal about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like going on talk shows and stuff like that and kind of talking about it a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
your frustration.
Yeah, and then now it's come to this, I guess. But I mean, I feel like people want to give him shit. It's like, oh, go be with your family, retire and stuff. But also, I mean, you don't know what's going on in his head. Like maybe he retired and he was just like, I'm so unhappy.
Yeah,
like, this is what I love to do.
Yeah,
it's like if someone said to you could never play Warzone again.
I think I'd be okay.
Yeah,
but
you'd be okay. But you would be like, man, I have nothing else I'm doing right now.
All your friends are still doing
all my friends are doing it.
Yeah,
you're like, I would just be happier if I could play it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's not your job. That's not your life. That's not what you've spent your entire life practicing and getting good at. You're not the best Warzone player in the world.
I totally understand that Tom Brady, also known as the greatest player to ever play the sport, is so admired by his peers. Everybody involved in the industry looks up to him as a god, basically. And you've been doing this for so long. It's all you know, basically. And yeah, that would be incredibly difficult to give up. And then I also understand her side of the story, which is like, if you come to a point where you decide to retire and the reason is to spend more time with your family and give up the life of football that you once had and put that past you so you can spend more time, and then you go back to football, what that could tell me as your wife is that you like football more than you like your family.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, he probably does. He probably, over the course of his life, has spent more time with football than he has with his family.
Probably doesn't even know him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's to some people who don't have that perspective of waking up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, getting that training in, going to the gym, and then going to practice, and then going to bed at like 6 p.m., and doing that every single day with a heavy regimented diet, and doing that to a T, no days off for 20 years straight. That perspective is hard to understand, and I don't think you can really judge him. I think I hate saying this, and I'm going to sound like a terrible person, but Tom Brady's family should be more lucky to be Tom Brady's family than Tom Brady being lucky to have them as a family. again, I say that and I immediately regret saying it,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
almost like it is. It's like I mean, he's a god basically in that industry.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is all to say that I think he should probably hang it up. I think maybe I think maybe shouldn't have gone on to play more football. For the sake of the fans, we're all grateful.
I think it was kind of cool that he did his little thing, went to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
His buddy came back to they won the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, they won.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, that was fun. You did your little stunt. Like
Mhm.
I think a lot of people predicted that he would be back.
Yeah.
Maybe not so soon, but it was like what really good football player hasn't come back?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jordan came back. You know, I mean, it's like when you think about the greats, like, do you ever see LeBron just quitting one day and just being like, "Yeah, this is it for me."
how old is he? He's younger than Tom Brady, right? He's pretty young.
36, maybe. I think.
And Tom Brady is probably in his 40s,
I think he's like four. I think he turned 40.
45.
He's 45. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And LeBron, 37. So LeBron has a good 7 years left.
I don't know. I think it's really rare that you have an NFL player play past 40.
Yeah, I think it's probably a lot easier to play basketball longer because, I mean, if you get touched by someone else, it's like they're getting ejected from the game. You're getting a bunch of penalty shots.
Yeah.
In football, I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think playing quarterback is probably a little bit less taxing on your body than being a forward or a point guard.
yeah, especially now that people aren't allowed to touch
Yeah,
the
basically
quarterback.
after last Sunday's call, Jesus Christ, it's like don't touch him, don't even look at him.
And then
dude.
people were making fun of Brady because he apparently he tried to kick the guy after.
Oh
When
really?
he was on it, when the guy was getting up, he just kicked his leg out. But
Yeah.
totally missed. And then it's like,
Did you see the clip of the Raiders guy who's getting ejected?
No.
And ends up running into or almost running into a camera guy and then just completely shoves the guy pushes him onto the floor as he's leaving the stadium.
Really?
Yeah, and he just
Wow.
today I think they just pressed assault charges on him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! So
Yeah.
is he getting kicked off the team?
No.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's on the Raiders, which the Raiders are notorious for being like bad boys, you know.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because of the name.
Yeah, it's just like I think they have a reputation.
We're Raiders.
It's funny because he played like 7 years with Green Bay. I think this is his first year with the Raiders, and he does this.
Oh,
and
so he's trying to show.
so
up.
everybody's like, "Well, now you're officially a Raider."
That's funny. It's like playing for Miami.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so.
2 hours in. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us while we shit talk about fucking Germany and Frontier.
We didn't shit talk Germany. That's all I'm saying.
We didn't shit talk them, but
Yeah. Oh, but we shit talked. I get
we
you.
shit talked
Yeah.
it.
And don't forget frontierairlines.com. Get your tickets. They're doing a $25 ticket sale.
Yeah, you just
Half
plug in
off
the
on
code.
seats at the Lucky Duck.
The Lucky Duck, yeah. Yeah, thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook. We're only on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, OnlyFans, almost
One day.
one day. Don't forget to check out the original Kin scripted podcast audio drama, First Chapter, streaming now on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to check out what Miles and Sarah are up to at Venturing Eyes on Instagram or adventuringeyes.com. And until next time, thanks, everybody. Good night. Adios.